So I said, you call this a PB&J, and I threw it right back in his face. Not all heroes wear capes. Oh, hello. Guess it's time for Mama to put on a show. This is Pearl's Selects. I'm Pearl, and my select is City Limits. Tonight's guest is GPC, Girls Night. GPC, what would you say are the biggest limitations of a city?
Well, I have to say, I'm a city girl at heart, so this is a tough one for me. And when I think of cities, I mostly think about the positives, like the different types of people and cultures, having all kinds of food and shopping, the access to art house films. But I suppose if I really thought hard to come up with a limitation, I'd have to say that it's the rent is too darn high.
Spoken like someone with roommates. And speaking of spoken, there's a lot of speaking being spoken in City Limits. Someone else, flush them the episode. Okay, we really did it. Is it just me, or is it really strange that they never made a sequel? Something like City Limits 2, Suburban Limits.
It's just you.
Wow. So much for female solidarity. Well, I'm going to go rip up some t-shirts, and we'll see you next time on Pearl's Selects.
Next morning, there were 3 outside of my window. Like, I'm a lucky duck, literally. Right? Oh, hello all! Welcome back to Cynthia Selects. Tonight, we're delighted to partake of Warrior of the Lost World. And we are also delighted, which seems like a strong word, oh well, to have Tom Servo here. Tell me, Servo, have you ever felt lost?
I beg pardon? Have I ever felt lost? Have I ever felt lost? How insulting! I take time out of my very busy and rather important day to come talk with you, and you choose to repay my kindness with a silly question such as this? Have I ever felt lost? No! Because I'm the wind, baby! And the wind blows exactly where it needs to, and only the wind knows where that is. Therefore, I am never lost, nor have I ever felt lost. Ha! This is most insulting! But isn't it weird that the words most and lost don't rhyme?
Okay, little red talking thought bubble, you really blew me away with all that. So better wind down a bit by watching Warrior of the Lost World. Cynthia, flush them the episode. Talk about a movie, and talk about a talking motorcycle.
Talk about how I get myself into these situations. Now I wish I knew the feeling of being lost. I don't want to know where I am anymore!
Well, you're here, Servo, with me, Cynthia Forrester, but not anymore because we've run out of time. See you next time on Cynthia's Selects. Alpha Bits is different because it's a cereal. Right. Oh, welcome back to Cynthia Selects. Tonight we'll be enjoying Time Chasers, and with us to chase down time itself, the one, the only, Pearl Forrester. Pearl, if you could go back in time and tell yourself anything, would you?
Oh, sure. I'm always tempted to go back and try to alter the course of my life or even history itself. Tell myself some winning lottery numbers, or to avoid costly castle renovations. Maybe get in on the ground floor of Amazon. But I think I'd mostly want to tell my younger self to not get too invested in the Microsoft Zune. It'll only break your heart, that Zune. And those scars never heal.
Fantastic. Well, speaking of the ground floor, that's where we won't be. We'll be in the clouds, in a plane, traveling through time. Here's Time Chasers. Cynthia, flash them the episode. Yeah, I nailed that cyborg. And that was Time Chasers, the best recruitment video Castleton ever made. Pearl, any final thoughts?
But to be honest, I wasn't paying much attention. I found out there's a Zune subreddit, and now I've got a sweet, chunky Zune HD headed my way. Shipping should only take 8 to 12 weeks. Keep the faith, Zune heads!
And you can keep the faith that we'll be back with more Cynthia Selects. Until next time, oh, my segues are so good.
And that is the exact definition of globule. Word for word. I'm serious. Oh, you're back. Well, buckle up, you overripe grapefruits, because tonight we are going to party like it's just after 1999 with Escape 2000. And here to talk about it is Crow T. Robot. Crow, I have to ask, would you leave the Bronx?
I would leave the Bronx if they wanted me to stay in the Bronx. But if they wanted me to stay in the Bronx, I would leave the Bronx. You can't tell the sun not to rise. You can't tell the wind not to howl. You can't tell who lives or who dies. And you can't tell Crow T. Robot to leave the Bronx. But you can't tell him to stay in the Bronx either. You can't tell him nothing.
An attitude after my own contrary heart. And on that note, let's start Escape 2000. Someone else, flush them the episode. Wow. Incredible. I sometimes wonder if there will ever be an Escape 3000. Crow, how do you feel about bigger numbers?
I say the more numbers you got, the bigger the number you have.
Just as wise as I was expecting. We'll see you next time if I feel like doing more of these.
About 10 minutes or you'll burn the sides of the pan. And that's how I like it. You have returned to Mega-Synthia Selects, as I predicted. Tonight, it is the movie that put star-based wars on the map. I'm talking, of course, about Space Mutiny. And joining me for the film is a very, very, very special guest, Pearl Forrester. Pearl, you are so wise. So I just wanted to ask you, what is a mutiny? Is it fun? Should I do it?
Mutiny? No, you don't want to do that. You'd hate it. Mutiny is when you have to do your chores and never eat ice cream. Also, you have to read the whole newspaper except the comics. I mean, if you really want to mutiny,
No! I mean, no thank you. What I really want to do is watch Space Mutiny! Mega-Synthia, flush them the episode! I can't believe they got Santa in this movie. With his busy schedule, they must have backed up the milk and cookies truck. Pearl, do you have any more wisdom to drop?
Yeah, never play an ace when a 2 will do, and always tip the dealer.
Not necessary. I have my own system. It's called Let the Wookiee Win. And I am the Wookiee. I am always the Wookiee. You must return for more Wookiee Selects. I mean, Mega-Synthia Selects. I know it has a lot of hustle. That's why it's the powerhouse of the cell. You have returned for more Mega-Synthia Selects, as the prophecy foretold. It is me, your favorite clone, Mega-Synthia. And finally, I get to show something I'm interested in. Because tonight, my select is parts the Clonus horror. Yes, get in the clone zone. And here to discuss it, I have Jonah Heston, who is not a clone, but nobody's perfect, right, Jonah?
You got that right, Mega-Synthia. Just a boring, old-fashioned style human over here. I'm actually surprised that you're so excited to watch this episode.
Are you kidding me? A whole movie about clones? It's about time. I just hope it gets into the many contributions that those created by dabbling in God's domain have made.
Actually, I'm pretty sure in this movie the clones are harvested for their organs. I mean, horror is right there in the name.
What? That's messed up. Just when I thought we were finally gonna get some respect. Look, clones can only take so much. And if people aren't careful, one day the clones are gonna make a whole clone army. And you're gonna have a clone war on your hands. A clone war!
Mega-Synthia, you're trading on existing IP, so maybe you should cool it before we get sued. You don't want to upset the mouse.
Fine. We'll enjoy this totally twisted piece of clone-sploitation, you sick and twisted freaks. If that's the sort of thing that makes you happy. Mega-Synthia! Flush them the episode! What a disturbing movie. My head is spinning. Is everyone who's ever been nice to me just buttering me up so they could steal my organs?
Hey, it wasn't all bad, right? Those clones, they sure had some sweet 1980s activewear. They were super stylish.
Nice try, Heston. This gallbladder's staying right where it is. See you next time on Mega-Synthia Selects, but not if I see you first.